You already knew. Even when they doubted you, you already knew. Hold that feeling. Because that's the exact feeling 117 million Filipinos have been carrying for decades. And right now, the world is finally starting to understand why. Her name was Maritz, 26 years old, Los Angeles, double shift at a hospital 5 days a week, bakery on weekends. Every morning she pinned a name tag to her chest before walking through those hospital doors. Mary, not Maritz. Mary, shorter, safer, less questions. She'd done it so long it stopped feeling like a choice. It just felt like survival. But every single night, no matter how exhausted she was, she'd sit in her car before driving home, open her phone, and stare at her screensaver. Intramuros, the old walls of Manila, golden light, late afternoon, 3 seconds. That's all she allowed herself. Then she'd drive home, sleep 4 hours, and do it all over again. Alam mo yung feeling na yun? That feeling of carrying something beautiful inside you, but hiding it because the world outside doesn't look like it has space for it? That's not just Maritz's story. That's the story of every Filipino who ever changed their accent in a meeting. Every Filipino kid who brought rice to school and felt embarrassed when someone stared. Every OFW who cried alone in a foreign apartment at 2 a.m., then called home smiling so their family wouldn't worry.
Ang lakas ng Pilipino, hindi nakikita sa labas.
The strength of a Filipino doesn't show on the surface. It lives underneath. Quiet, patient, unbreakable. One Tuesday morning, a coworker walked into the break room still buzzing from her vacation. She'd just come back from Palawan. I don't even know how to explain it, she said, voice still full of it. The water looks fake, like someone edited the color. And the people. She stopped, shook her head slowly. I've traveled a lot. I've never felt that welcomed anywhere. Not tourist welcomed. Human welcomed. Maritz was pouring coffee with. She didn't move. She just listened. And something cracked open inside her, quietly, the way things break when they've been held together too tightly for too long. She'd heard people talk about the Philippines her whole life in America. Typhoons. Poverty. Oh, you're from there? But this was someone describing her home like it was the most alive place they'd ever stood. She looked down at her name tag, Mary. She peeled it off slowly, walked to the supply cabinet, printed a new one, Maritz, pinned it on, walked back to work, didn't say a word to anyone. But something had shifted, something that doesn't shift back. Here's what nobody talks about when they talk about the Philippines. The world spent decades seeing the exports, the nurses, the seamen, the domestic workers, the OFWs sacrificing everything to keep families alive from the other side of the planet. And the world called it tragedy. Families separated. Children growing up on video calls. Parents missing first steps, graduations, funerals.
Ang sakit nun.
The pain of that is real. But here's what the world missed while it was busy pitying the Philippines. Those same people, the ones who left, they were being forged. Every sacrifice sharpened something. Every lonely night in a foreign country built something inside them that comfort cannot build. Every time a Filipino smiled through pain. Not because they were weak, but because they refused to let the pain be the loudest thing in the room. They were becoming something the world has no clean word for. Matabe. Strong in a way that bends but never breaks. And now that generation is grown. They're in hospitals saving lives in New York, building tech companies in California, creating content that's reaching millions, raising children who know both worlds, who can switch between Tagalog and English mid-sentence without losing either.
Hindi na nagtatago.
No more hiding. And back home? A whole generation of young Filipinos who grew up watching the world through a screen, absorbing everything, but never once losing the thing that makes them Filipino. That warmth, that malasakit, that deep, instinctive care for other people that you cannot fake and cannot manufacture. You either grew up in it or you didn't. The world is starting to notice. Tourism in the Philippines is surging. International media is running out of superlatives for Palawan, Siargao, Baguio, Baton's. Global brands are finally paying attention to Filipino creatives. Filipino food is pushing through the door that's been closed for too long. But here's the part that actually matters. It's not the world's attention that changed the Philippines. It's that Filipinos stopped waiting for it. That's the shift. That's the era. When a people that has survived colonization, corruption, typhoons, and separation, when that people decides collectively, quietly, powerfully to stop shrinking.
Wala nang makakitili.
Nothing stops that. And maybe, just maybe, that's why you're watching this. Because somewhere in this story you recognize something. Maybe you're Filipino and you've been carrying that screensaver version of home inside you for years. The one you only let yourself look at for 3 seconds before life pulls you back. Maybe you're American and you're realizing the people you passed every day. The nurse, the driver, the coworker you called by the wrong name, were carrying entire worlds inside them that you never thought to ask about. Or maybe you're both. Born between two worlds, fully belonging to neither, trying to figure out which version of yourself is the real one. Here's the truth. You don't have to choose. Maritz didn't choose. She just put her real name back on. That was enough. 6 months later, her manager called her into the office.
Promotion.
You seem more present lately, he said. More confident. Like you finally arrived. She smiled. If only he knew. That night she called her Nene. Told her everything. The name tag. The coworker. The promotion. All of it. Her Nene was quiet for a long moment. Then she said, softly,
Hindi ka namin pinalaki para itago ang iyong pangalan.
We did not raise you to hide your name. Maritz cried. The kind of cry that's not about sadness. The kind that happens when something finally returns to where it belongs. The Philippines is not rising because the world decided to pay attention. The Philippines is rising because Filipinos, scattered across every continent, working every shift, carrying every sacrifice, decided that enough was enough.
Hindi pa handa ang mundo.
The world isn't ready. But ready or not, here we come. Like this video so it reaches every Filipino and every person who needs to hear this story. Comment below where you're watching from, and subscribe so you never miss what's coming next.